news from March 31st, 2011. Interesting stories about the radiation effects from Japan as those particles travel around the world and disperse. From Japan, of course, crossing across the Pacific, they have, as I told you, been noticed all across the US into Europe now. But the interesting thing is, just this past week, the EU has lowered their radiation standards so that Japanese produce can be allowed to be sold in the EU without a problem now. Plus, any contamination in the food in EU countries will be okay because they've lowered the standards, and now what was dangerous before is now acceptable, so you can buy the fruits and vegetables and eat them. Isn't that very interesting? The radiation has also been found in milk in Northern California and in Washington State, but according to officials there, the amount is less than what you would have gotten in a 5-hour flight. So the milk, they said, is perfectly okay to drink. So it's your option if you want to have that little bit of radiation, a little zest of flavor in your milk or dairy products when you have that. Also, radiation has been found in drinking water and other supplies that you would eat or drink from Florida all the way to Massachusetts. Interestingly, there has been no, at least recorded information from the central or midwestern United States as far as any radiation is concerned, so perhaps the winds have just blown it around us to other areas. Another interesting story that happened this week was Gaddafi's son, Muammar Gaddafi's son from Libya, was taking this month, or a few weeks ago, a class with Deepak Chopra here in the United States. And he was very lovely in the class and attended very well. But then he suddenly left back to Libya, where he then started to kill rebels attacking his father. So isn't it curious that you could go from a love, light, and peace class of Deepak Chopra to murdering rebels in his own country, really one day to the next? That says a lot about all of them, in my opinion. Another very strange and interesting story that I want to bring to you took place when an airline pilot inspecting his plane in Charlotte, North Carolina, discovered a bullet hole in the fuselage over one of the passenger windows towards the back of the plane. Of course, he reported this to the FAA and to authorities. They grounded the plane and did an investigation. They actually did find a bullet inside the plane that had penetrated the fuselage. And they said it had nothing to do with terrorism. It was just an accident or a random act. And that was the end of this story. I guess around Charlotte Airport, bullets are flying all the time, and so this was no big deal. But I certainly think that there's more to it than that. It's not being said, and we will find out more information and bring it to you here on these news videos. So until next time, this is Stewart A. Swerdlow for Expansions.com.